Yo, welcome back, everybody, to Rock Fantasy Files. Happy New Year's. I got my Miller, my champagne of beers with me tonight.
Mm.
So we're here to chat on our favorite albums from 2024 tonight. Our season ending from last year. Pete Pardo did his beginning of December. I'm like, no, I want to listen to my records the whole month of December and even got into a few days of January and still moved some of them around. But I like to listen to the stuff, and there's a lot of stuff you realize, oh, that came out this year. I got to listen to it, and so there's a lot. It was a lot of homework, but fun homework. But I got Count Ralphus with me tonight. I got the Ravenous Ghoul back. We got Tracy Stanton from WXAX
Woo!
Radio. We got the center square tonight of Tony Dio from North Carolina in the center. We got Ed Farsley from Armageddon Productions. We got James Delisle from Crucial Pain and Disc and Dat Records up in Connecticut. We got
Oh yeah.
we got Obie, our vampire, staying up all night in Norway. So who would like to kick it off? We're going to start this off. We're going to do a 10-1 countdown with each guest, and then we'll go wrap around for some honorable mentions. Uh, how about you, Ralph? Since you're my upper left square, we'll kick it off with you, and we'll head over to Ravenous and down to Tracy, and just follow that right around.
All right. So yeah, I did it already with you on Sea of Tranquility.
Yeah, we
So it's
did.
pretty much the same, except for we were only doing top three actually on that, and
Yeah,
then
I know.
honorable mentions.
You don't want
So
only three. How do you do only three?
but this year wasn't as hard as usual for me because usually I have so many out new albums, but everything that I went through in the last year was like the least amount of new albums that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
But I I got a good 20 of them ready to go. But so my top 10, and I don't really have them in order except for like the bottom three or so.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna kind of go through them. But so this album came out winter. It's live in Brooklyn, in New York, and the show was taped in 2012 or
Okay.
2012, and it's but they released it this year, and this was like a special show because the keyboardist who played on this, he played on the original album, but then he never really played live with them. And they did this special show when they got back together, and he played on the album. But he recently had passed away. This guy, the keyboard player, but it's amazing if you love winter, or not the season, but the band. This is great, slow, heavy, crushing metal. Really good stuff. Uh,
Doom.
so yeah, next I got Deicide, Ed Farsley's favorite band. Um, I think it's a solid album. It was a long time waiting for this new album, so it was cool that they finally put something out. People complain so much about the album cover and stuff, but I think it's a solid release.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
I don't see anything wrong with that album cover. I got the T-shirt from the show with the album
Yeah,
cover
it's a
on.
great artwork.
Cool.
The one thing is, I'm not. This is one of my honorable mentions, but it was like a lot of people were comparing these two together,
Yeah, oh
the
yeah,
Terry
yeah. You can see that.
Terry
Covers,
King
yeah.
and the Deicide.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna go with some hard rock now. The new Deep Purple,
Nice.
Equal One, Equal One. It's first time without Steve Morse playing guitar in the band. Kind of gave it a new life, new energy to him, and I think it's the best album they've done in a while. And it's not because I think he's a better album or guitar player or not, but he just gives it like a newer, fresher sound. And it's just a really great release for hard rock. Then for some classic metal, Hellfire and Damnation by Saxon.
Yep.
These guys have been consistently good for a real long time now. And this was another great solid album. Then I got Aborted, and it's Vault of Horrors is the name of this one. Real sick album cover.
Mhm.
This one's got a ton of special guests. Like every song got different people on it, so it kind of gives the whole album like a fresh sound. It's not all the sounding exactly the same the whole time. And they've come a long way from being like the Carcass clones from the beginning. But I thought this was a really great album this year.
He wanted to bring everyone that they have toured with on the album. That's why it's so many
So
different.
many guests, like every song you're like trying to figure out who's playing on it. And it
Well,
gives each song like its own life, kind of. It's not just like one album that sounds all the same, kind of, you know. So pretty cool. I like that experiment to do that, you know. High on Fire, Come at the Storm.
yeah.
Been a real long time since they released something. Nice
Yep.
wait there. And in the meantime, they had lost their amazing drummer who you know, he just left the band, whatever. I don't know what the reason why he's gone, but he is missed on this because I think he's one of the main things that I always loved about High on Fire. But the replacement, this guy played from the Melvins and stuff, and he's a good replacement. But I do miss the original drummer, but that's about the only bad thing I'd say about it. It's still a great album. Glad they're back. All right, Mausoleum, Defiling the Decayed, death metal from Ohio area. Rob Yench from Hudson Valley. Morpheus Descends. This is his other band. Great doomy, brutal like Autopsy type of death metal. If you like Autopsy, you'll dig Mausoleum. Really cool shit. They got a bunch of good albums. All right, so now I'm down to my top three. I'm gonna go with the Underworld Awaits Us All by Nile. These guys never disappoint me. Love everything they've done. Great new fresh album. Yeah, just flying through them. My number two, I'm gonna go with Deceased Children of the Morgue. Another great comeback album for these guys. One of the best albums they've ever done. So memorable, catchy. Love it. They straddle the line death metal, thrash metal, and there's new wave of British heavy metal sounds in there, some melodic parts, and King
Some
just lived.
doomier sounds going on in there too, which shocked me. Yeah.
Yeah, he lives and breathes metal, and he really did a great job on that album. Love it.
Yes.
And this is my number one is Discontinued by Malignancy. It's I just left it in my car like all year. I've had this in my car, and the Deceased and the Nile. Those three are the ones that I listen to the most. So I had to put them in there. These guys, one of the best live bands out there. So much fun every time I see them, and I love this release. It's just one of those albums, just like the Nile. You got to leave it in your car and really listen to it. It's really dense, a lot going on, real technical, but the more you listen to it, the more it sinks in and just becomes so incredible. So that's my 10 of 2024.
Awesome. I'm going to move to our favorite ghouls up in the upstate New York area. Ravenous Ghouls here. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me. Well, to start off, when I first made my top album list, I had more than 30 albums.
Yep.
Managed to cut down to 27, and I posted them all on my Instagram account. But for this show, I had to really, really labor to cut it down even further. So aside from my top 10, I do have a long list of honorable mentions, but I will run through those quickly later on today. So, okay, let's start off with my top 10. Okay, well, I am a big fan of folk metal. It just has a place in my heart. And one of my favorite folk metal bands came out with their 12th album this year. And it's really, for an album that's their 12th, it's a great album. And I absolutely fell in love with it. This is from Finland, the band Korpiklani.
Oh, I missed that this year. I didn't realize they put it out now.
Previous to this album, the last two albums for this one, they really slowed things down. And actually, a lot of fans weren't crazy about those albums. So before this album even came out, the band assured their fan base that they were going to speed things up and just be much heavier. Because really, they're at their best when they speed it up and they have, some party songs and heavy songs. And this album, great album. It's just, there's some heavy songs that make me want to drink beer, and just songs that make me want to just run around the forest and just it has an excellent folk element. So anyway, it was a great bounce back album for Korpiklani. And I'm glad to come to the States to tour with Ensiferum, and next month I will be there for that. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to that tour too. I don't think I'm going to the same one you are.
I'm going to Boston.
Yeah.
So, okay, so next.
What was the name of that Korpiklani album?
It is called Rankararumpu.
Okay.
So, there you are. Okay, so next I have number 9. I have from From Italy, this is album number 6, Opera, from Flesh God Apocalypse. Great album. I mean, I love this album so much. I bought the variant that I bought is actually the Italian flag variant. I had to buy it straight from the band site. So but anyway, this is a great album. I mean, everything they make is fantastic, and this is another epic album from these guys. So okay. Next, so let's see. I have number 8. Here's a band that I don't know. I don't see a lot of people talk about this album, probably because maybe I don't know. They may not be that well known. But this is another band actually from Italy. This is a doom metal band called Haunted. The album is called Stare at Nothing. This I believe is their third or fourth album. I caught on to this band a couple of years ago. They dropped another album, I think around 2018, 2019, called Dayburner or Sunburner, which was absolutely fantastic. I like doom metal that is just really dark and heavy, something like Electric Wizard and Winham and bands like that. These guys are in the same neighborhood, basically. So if you like stuff like that, give them a try because they're similar, just really eerie, creepy, just dark, slow doom metal. So anyway, so there's that. So next up, I have let's see, where am I here? Here we go. Number 7 from Greece, album number 14 from Rotting Christ.
Oh, I forgot about that one on my
So
list.
yeah,
Damn it.
It's fucking amazing.
I have that
another
record. How did I forget it? I forget that completely.
yeah, another incredible album. I mean, this album sounds like a soundtrack. There's just something about it.
Yeah.
It's like metal, but it just becomes something else as well. So this is just another brilliant release from these guys. So okay, so next I have this is album number, let's see, number 9 from High on Fire. I absolutely love everything they do. They're one of my favorite bands, and this album really they haven't slowed down, and they show no signs of slowing down for a band that's been around for quite a while. So another crushing, just devastating album. They did change drummers, and it sounds a little different as a result of that, but still, the overall product is still a great record. So okay, so my top 5. Let's see. So here I have the band from Toronto. This is a black metal band called Spectral Wound. These guys, I mean, the album is called Songs of Blood and Mire. Over the past, say, 5 or so years, I mean, Spectral Wound has probably been one of the best black metal bands because everything they've made. I mean, in that time, they have 2 albums, but both of them are incredible records. The really vicious, brutal black metal with a vocalist who has the kind of vocals that almost sounds as if you're under attack. And that's what I like in my black metal. Really vicious. This one, they change things up a little because they take somewhat of a more black rock and roll style. They add a bit more of that to their sound, but overall, really a great, just menacing, vicious record. So that's number 4. I'm sorry, that's number 5. Number 4, here's a band. These guys are from, I'm not sure where they're from. I think they're from, anyway, they're Danish maybe. This band is called Solbrud, Solbrud. The album is called 4, which I believe it just stands for the 4 seasons, and as it's displayed here. This is black metal, ambient, atmospheric black metal, the kind of music that maybe you might want to play while walking through the forest. Just really dark, somber metal. And this album is gigantic. Like it's really long. It has a number of songs that are above 9-10 minutes. But really a fantastic album. These guys, I had never heard of them until I heard this album it came out like March, I believe. Sadly, this band, they broke up over the summer. And they don't exist anymore after 15 years of existence. But anyway, this easily should be one of the top black metal records of the year. Just give it a try if you've never heard them. Solbrud, that's Slobrud.
Oh, Sunbride in English.
Yes, that sounds right. Okay, my top 3. Now, heading back to Canada. This is the band Panzerfrost. This album is called Sons of Perdition Chapter 4 to the Shadow Zion. So over the past 5, 6 years, the band has released now 4 albums that are part of this Sons of Perdition, the chapter basically. The first one came out in 2019. I mean, they're all really good albums, but this one is their best album. It's just absolutely brutal, incredible vocalist who has just absolutely savage vocals and just everything from the drum work to the guitar. She's just vicious, relentless. So give it a shot. That sounds like something you might like. So there you are. Now, top 2. Here's one of my favorite bands. These guys are called Shamash. They are from Switzerland. This is their 5th album, which this album follows a theme. I mean, it's like it's like the heavy metal version of this literary work that was released a long, long time ago called Les Chants de Malador. The album is called The Malador Chants, Old Ocean. I mean, Shamash, if you've never heard them, I mean, they're listed as black metal, but they're really so much more than that. Like just to call them black metal is not accurate because they have a unique style where I mean, it's really hard to define what their music sounds like, but it's it's how do I explain this? It's dark. It is just songs are pretty epic. I mean,
Is it more ambient?
they are a unique band. At times they are. At times they
Uh-huh.
are ambient, but they're really a unique band, incredible band, and everything they've made has been superb. So, anyway, Shamash at number 2. And then last, here is a band that I discovered last year. This band comes from Chicago. They are called Huntsman. The album is The Dry Land. This band, I mean, I don't, I mean, they're in the category of maybe stoner or sludge metal, but they are so much more than that. I mean, this is an incredible album, heavy,
It was a heavy album.
brutal.
I heard that one.
It's superb. So if you've never heard them, give it a try. When I first heard this album, I was just stunned and I couldn't stop playing it because it's so good. So like I can imagine them like maybe be the kind of band that might be a good opener for like a Mastodon or High on Fire, but they're completely different. I mean they have their own style. So a powerful album, absolutely stunning, and it blew me away. So when I played it. So anyway, give it a shot if you have not heard them. Huntsman. There we go. And I'm done, Steve.
Okay, great. Tracy, what's happening? What you got?
I'm gonna have a very where he took off on international bands. Most of the research I've been doing this year has been right here in the United States. So I've got a lot of underground stuff on my list that people might not have heard of. Um, okay, my first band, I liked what Vicious Blade put out this year. It's
Okay.
got it's got Clarissa from Castrator is the lead vocalist for the band, but I think the album was um, just enough of a blackened edge. I liked it. I played it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
The next one was Annihilator, more of a classic thrash band, old school thrash from Corpus Christi, and that's Death is Calling. Okay, back to my notes. And I got Scattered Guts, Human Entropy. They're from Tempe, Arizona,
Okay.
released October 1st. The album was just very well arranged, very transitional. Every track had a different tone to it. It wasn't like just constant beat you over the head thrash. Like Arrow of Time is like more grinding and grippy. and some of the a couple of the songs have almost like a groove induced thrash sound. Then I've got Symbiotic Necrotism, and they are from Freeport, Illinois. And wait a minute, I lost my notes.
Did you say that you had a band that their name is Annihilator?
Yes.
Not
It's Annihilator, actually.
Oh, okay.
Annihilator.
I was gonna say that's already.
I'm like, how the fuck could a band come out with the other Annihilator from Canada with like 20
No,
albums?
it's Annihilator.
They actually came out about the same
Anialatr.
And Ravenous Ghoul had a band called Haunted. I was thinking about the band The Haunted. They
The
were pretty
Haunted.
well known.
His is
Yeah,
just Haunted.
but it's just weird when a band
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Okay, where am I? Okay, Symbiotic Necrotism. The album's called Human Crushing Sickness, and it's 11 tracks of like more technical death, but it's not absurd. Your average death metal person could sit down and enjoy this album, but it's definitely worth a listen if you haven't heard it. Then I've got Liquefied Decomposition. This was actually my album of the year. Underground bands from Dubuque, Iowa.
Mm.
And they put dialogue samples in their music, which is from like Forensic Files, from Tales from the Crypt. And just an amazing album. The track for track, you could sit down and listen to the whole album and not feel like you need to remove your ear. Just an amazing album. Okay, now on to more. Then I've got Mausoleum, Defiling Decay. I'm with Ralph on that one. I got to switch my page here.
Are these in order, or you're just picking like 10?
No. It's going up. It's going up.
Okay, I thought you just said the last one was your album of the year.
Well, that one was my underground album of the year.
Underground album of the year. Okay.
Yes. Definitely. If you have the time, take the time to listen to it because it's very interesting. It's a fun album to listen to. Then I have Deicide, Banished by Sin.
Yeah.
And Deceased, Children of the Morgue. Just an amazing album. You can't even put it under a genre. It's like it's a masterpiece all its own. Really, I was really shocked. I knew King would do a great job, but this was one of his masterpieces. And Malignancy, Discontinued. Yeah, Ron and Danny are just on top of their game with this album. It's a concept album, and I love it. It takes us into how technology is actually destroying humanity, and just an intense album.
They got them sick and tense lyrics, but then when they're playing live, they're like cracking jokes in between every song.
And Danny and
like
Ron
one of the
are
funnest
just amazing.
bands.
He's the best frontman.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he did his he recorded his vocals at Mike Yusufer's studio, so there's that Hudson Valley connection there.
Yeah, and my number one was Nile. It's undeniable. I mean, track to track, amazing album. You could just and you could see the evolution of where this has come, especially with Brian coming in with the guitar playing. It's definitely taken on even a more technical edge. I just couldn't stop listening to that album. Yeah, and going to go see them next week coming up. So
yeah, are they in Albany next week?
Yeah, they're going to be in Albany. I'm thinking I'm going to Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
6 feet under is on the bill.
I saw that.
We're not going to go there. It'd be nice to see Jack.
They're in North Carolina tonight. Actually, John Cavaluzzi offered me tickets to go to see him tonight because he and Johnny are sick with the flu, and I was like, dude, I'm tied up, and so I couldn't do it. I would have never been. I would have had to get off work early and all to try to make it. It's like a 2.5 hour drive, so yeah. It was nice of him to offer though.
Yep. So that was number 1 for the year.
Okay. Thank you. We'll wrap back and see you in a little bit. Tony Dio, our Center Square. What were you listening to last year?
Okay, so there's probably some stuff I missed. I mean, you always do when you're going through stuff, but
yeah.
I'm going to start out number 10. This band called Sabir. Some of you might be familiar with these guys. They've had an EP out a couple years ago. It's this guy Scarlet. He's kind of like he really wants to be Blackie Lawless in a way, but he's kind of came out of that on this album a little bit. They were based out of Australia. I think they're originally from Canada, and he relocated to Australia. Now I think he's living in Portland, so he's got a U.S. residency now, I think. But yeah, it's just it's kind of 80s metal sounding, kind of like Wasp a little bit, but it's got a little bit of a gothy tinge at times. It's got the production is kind of a little on the muddy side, so it gives it that classic 80s sound, like from the old Combat, records type stuff. So it's a good throwback, old school record, really good stuff. My number 9, I actually do not have a physical copy of, but I don't stream much music, but we stream it at work all the time. And one of the most played albums this year, we listen to a lot of old classic rock and stuff, but one of the most played records this year has been the new Deep Purple, which is Equals One, I guess is the title.
And Equals One,
just such a solid record. I mean, here's a band that's been around for 55 years or so, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's Deep Purple, but it's got a modern edge to it. It sounds modern, doesn't sound dated, doesn't sound like old Deep Purple, but you've got that influence in it. And I think the addition of Simon McBride on guitar has really lit a fire under that band. I mean, nothing against Steve Morse, but Simon plays more in that Blackmore style. It works better with them. It gives them just a more hard rocking sound, less bluesy, and just some really good songs on that new album, especially like the opening track, Show Me. I mean, that's just really, really catchy. And the Lazy Sod, I love that song. It's just, just about being a lazy ass laying around all day. It's just really cool. Kind of like Lazy Part 2 for the band. In other words,
when they played live, they played Lazy Sod and they played Lazy. I forget whether one was before. They were next to each other in the set, I'm pretty sure.
And they were lazy as fuck when they tried to come up with this album cover.
That album cover
how
is pretty
lazy is that?
They might take lamest album cover of the year. I mean, that's just
definitely.
like thrown together.
Maybe the last 10 years.
The last couple of records that they've done, they've had really, like, they had that one called Now What, and it's just
that was simple too.
It's almost the same fucking thing.
And like the gatefold inside was what they did to like tour shirt from.
Yeah, and that looks awesome. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I've got to get me a physical copy of that because this is a really good record.
You better.
We've played it, like I said, we've played it quite a bit at work, and that's why it's just stuck in my head on loop all the time. Okay, number 8, just a great record by Saxon, just Hellfire and Damnation, excellent record. I mean, Saxon they don't disappoint. Everything they've done in the last 25 years or so, it's just been solid heavy metal records. I mean, they started out as a new wave of British metal band, and they were mixing AC/DC riffs with Judas Priest riffs and coming up with stuff, and made some great records in the 80s. And they kind of towards the end of the 80s they started to get more commercial, trying to break America, and kind of lost their way a little bit. Had some good stuff in there, but it was few and far between. And then when they came back in the 90s, man, it just seems like that they was just it's just pedal to the metal all the way. A lot of just heavy metal, double bass drumming, just good solid records. And this one, nothing disappointing about this one. It's a really good record. From there, I'm gonna go. This is Legion of Doom. This is the guys. This is the Skull, which formed out of Trouble, which was Eric Wagner and Ron Holzner from Trouble. Started the Skull, and of course we lost Eric back during COVID in 2021. And the guys had some stuff left over that they wanted to do, that they wanted to record. Lothar, or Lothar, as I say his name, Lothar and Ron Holzner had some stuff they had been working on with Eric, and they wanted to record it. So they brought in not one but two singers. They brought in Carl Legale from COC and Leadfoot, and Carl's currently in a band called Lie Heavy as well. And they brought in Scott Riegers, the original singer for St. Vitus, my favorite St. Vitus vocalist, by the way. And they brought in Scott Little on second guitar from Leadfoot. And they brought in Henry Vasquez, who's played drums with like all the Doom bands, Pentagram and everybody through the years. And they put this album together, and actually has lyrics written by Eric Wagner. And they've actually had Eric's voice recorded for the song Heaven. And so Eric actually is on the record singing the song Heaven. And the rest of the vocals are shared between Carl and Scott. And it's a good, doomy 70s hard rock type record. If you like Trouble, you'll dig this. This is really good stuff.
I gotta check that out. That sounds like a super group there. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. I got the 7-inch as well. Yeah. They played here. They played a show. They only did a few shows. They played one in Raleigh, of course, with Carl and Scott being from Raleigh. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. They did a cover on there. What is it?
Into the Fire from Deep Purple.
Into the Fire from Deep Purple. We just talked about Deep Purple. Yeah. So from there, I'm going to go number 6 for me is going to be the latest from Unto Others, which is Never Neverland. Great band that just does this doomy hard rock, kind of like Sisters of Mercy and Typo Negative kind of mixed together. Just really cool. They used to be called Idle Hands. I saw them open for King Diamond back in 19, whenever Idle Hands, and they had to change their name because somebody else had that name. So they ended up going with Unto Others. And this is, I think, their second release on Century Media now. Really cool band, worth checking out. Some great songs on that one.
It's actually their 4th studio album. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The first 2 were actually under the title of Idle Hands.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So
it was their third album. Yep. Third album. Yep.
So well, I know they've got a few EPs and stuff out.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
they
So,
do. They
yeah,
do.
yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I've kind of lost count myself as well. Number 5 is a band called Nestor. They're from Sweden. This is total 80s throwback AOR. I mean, this is like this is Journey, Toto, stuff like that, but with a little bit of heavy guitars, kind of hair metal, a little bit into it. You know, the guy write great songs, just big hooks. And I'd love to see these guys live in concert. I've watched a few of their shows on YouTube, and they're just a fun band. So that's Nestor, and the name of the album is Teenage Rebel.
I've seen them live twice, and they are, I don't know, they're one of those bands that manages to take the energy from the album to the live show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Very energetic band. Number 4, the newest record from Deceased. Children of the Morgue. Great record. King and the guys totally delivered on this, and they got some of the older members playing some extra stuff on it, some of the solos and stuff. It's a concept album about dying and death, and it's just a solid record. I mean, it's like Ralph was saying earlier, it's got just all sorts of elements thrown in. You know, you've got some thrash and death and doom and everything thrown in on this. It's just a really, really solid record from Deceased.
The instrumentals are amazing too.
Oh yeah, guitar work on it, just great guitar solos and stuff. Yeah. Number 3 for me is going to be the latest record, Mean Streaks by Riot. This album, they kind of went back to a more straightforward riff type music. They kind of tend to go off, since they've reformed the Riot 5 lineup, they were doing more of like the Thundersteel power metal type stuff. And the last album they did, Armor of Light, was a lot of fast-paced power metal type stuff. But this one, they wanted to go back. I was talking to Mike, the guitarist, about it. He said they wanted to go back to more riff-oriented stuff, like the early days of Riot. So you get Fire and Under type stuff, but you also still get some Thundersteel type stuff on it as well. But great record from these guys. They never fail to deliver. Number 2 for me is going to be Under the Crooked Claw by Bat, which is Nick and,
amazing. They're great. Yeah,
Nick and Ryan Waste from Municipal Waste. This is the band that they formed actually with Felix from DRI, but Felix has left now, and so they. But yeah, this is their this is their 3rd full length record, and yeah, it's a solid record. If you like stuff like Venom and Sodom and just speed metal, old school speed metal, just you'll love this. I mean, it's just solid. It's pedal to the metal, like I said, speed metal. It's what it is. It's the only way to really describe it. It's got that old school vibe to it. So yeah, it's a really solid record from these guys. And
I think Ed booked them.
Oh, many
Brooklyn,
times,
right?
I booked them like 4 times in the last 10 years.
Just high energy, man.
Yep.
Yeah, just such a good band. Yeah. And my number 1 is going to be Invincible Shield from Judas Priest, because I love this record. I think it's great. They really came back with firepower, I thought, and this just kind of continues that. Richie Faulkner definitely breathed new life into this band, and it's just some great tunes on this record. And it's one of those things that you get new stuff a lot of times, and you listen to it and you're all about it there for a little bit, and then you kind of move on to something else, and do you go back to it? And I'm constantly going back to this. I've got this I've got it on flash drive that I keep in my car, and I probably listen to it like at least a couple of tracks off of it at least once a week. And we also have this one streaming at my work as well, as always playing. So yeah, it's a really good record. There's some fast tracks on here. There's some slower, just driving, like hard driving tracks on here. It's a little bit of all the mixture of Judas Priest from the sound they've came back with since Painkiller, basically. There's nothing that sounds like Stained Class on here, unfortunately, but I still love it. It's great stuff. So yeah, so that's gonna be my that's my top 10. I got a couple of honorable mentions for later.
Cool. Ed, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? All right. Yeah, 2024 was a really great year for metal. I mean, a lot of great albums, as you've all been talking about. I mean, I came up initially for this thing. I came up with 33 albums, going over all the albums that came out. 33 albums that I either knew I liked, had heard, or really wanted to check out in bands that I was familiar with. And there's a lot more albums in there. A lot of guys have mentioned already albums I want to check out that I didn't get a chance to hear, didn't know about, or forgot about. So it was a really, really great year. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, 33 albums I've listened to, going into this. 2 of which were duds, unfortunately. The Ministry and the Lee Aaron cover albums just didn't do it for me. But the 31 other albums were all great. Like I said, if I don't have them already, I'm going to be getting them, physical copies, because they're all fucking great. I wish I had them all already. And I'm happy to say that out of the 31 bands, let's see, where's my number? 19 of these bands are bands that I have booked personally.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great bands, like this year and the last couple of years, it's been a resurgence of not just old bands putting out new albums, great old bands putting out new albums, but great old bands putting out great new albums. I mean, a lot of these power metal bands, thrash metal bands, death metal bands, they've been putting out, bands that put out great albums 30, 40 years ago have returned to that style, that passion that they first had, and been putting out great fucking records. So it's a really great time once again. So I'm glad to say, like I said, I booked 19 of them throughout the years, many of which have played my festival, the Rage of Armageddon Fest. I've got a bunch of those bands playing my fest this year. And my number 1 album is, my number 1 album for 2023 is one of my headliners playing the fest this year. We'll get to them later. Actually, with Jack Pansy, that was my list for last year, so it's no surprise there. All right, getting to the list here. Number 10. I've got a few of them that are on Tony's list. Ironically enough, we have similar tastes. Number 10 is the Rods, Rattle the Cage. I was blown away by this album. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, the Rods are great, but this album was just like, wow, just phenomenal. Just like, similar to old Rods. It's just excellent. First-rate classic heavy metal, true masters. Started 45 years ago. Songs like Wolves at the Door, Putting, what is this? Rattle the Cage, Play It Loud, and Metal Highways. Just straight up heavy metal. Musically, vocally, lyrically, just 100% metal. Just great stuff. Number 9 album. Let's see. Bat under the crooked claw. I keep saying it wrong.
It's hard to say.
The tongue twister. It isn't. I know, right? It's a tongue twister, but it's a great fucking record. Yeah, like Ralph mentioned, I have booked Bat many times. Gotten to become really good friends with Ryan and the guys. First 3 times I booked him was with Felix playing. Felix is another really cool guy. I mean, the band is fantastic. New drummer is great too. I had them play my Rage Armageddon Fest last year. I had him for one of my birthday shows. I had him play with Razor. I had him play with Deceased. I love the guys. And this album is just fucking great. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, where do you go wrong? I mean, fucking just straight speed, thrash, heavy metal. Like you said, ultimate 3-piece, like Sodom, like Venom, just old school. Let's see. Number 8, Ruthless, The Fallen. Ruthless, part of the first wave of the LA heavy metal scene, going back to 1982. Put out a couple EPs, their debut in 1986, and kind of took a couple years off. But just fucking great, fucking pure heavy metal, pure power metal. This record is just one of their best records, as I would say just about as good as the classic from 86. They basically touch on a few different genres here. Let's see here. This is, like I said, it's only the 4th album, the 3rd they put out in 10 years, but this is phenomenal. They keep getting better and better. Let's see, they do fucking just straight up heavy metal, like the song Dark Passage. They got speed metal, like Betrayer, heavy doom power metal, like End Times. Ruthless do it all. They do it all really, really well. Let's see, number 7. Find it here. Too many papers.
You make me feel more comfortable, Ed.
Yeah, right? All right. We're going to go with Attacker, the God Particle. Attacker, one of the earliest power metal, heavy metal bands from the tri-state area of New Jersey. Happened to be one of the first bands I ordered a demo from back in 1984. I've gotten to become really, really good friends with the guys. Another band I've booked many times. I love Attacker to death. This band is just fucking phenomenal. This album, the last album they did, The God Particle, was just, actually, this is The God Particle. The album they did before this, Sins of the World, was just phenomenal. Just the best record they put out in years, and they haven't put out a bad record ever. And this record, dare I say, it is even better. Musically, they're just so perfectly just a mixture of technicality and just brutal riffing, heaviness, and just power. Bobby's vocals have never sounded better. Just brutal fucking record. Just like I said, one of the best. Who else here? What am I missing? Here we go. We've mentioned a couple of people have mentioned this one already. Saxon, Hellfire and Damnation. Saxon have always been one of my all-time favorite heavy metal bands, and like Tony mentioned, they have just not stopped the last 25 years. They took a few years off, trying to be successful, trying to be commercial, whatever, try different things, and just returned back to form and have not stopped and just get better and better and better. The last record was just phenomenal, and this record is also phenomenal. I mean, I can't wait to see them at Hell's Heroes, doing the classic live album set. And just I want to tour again and do this album set. Just fucking, they're the best. Love those guys. I got to see them last year. I'm going to see them many times, but last year they played out in Long Island as a headline set, and I got to see them like an hour and 10-minute set. It was just phenomenal. Instead of just opening for Judas Priest or something. So a band has never gotten the respect they deserve. Absolutely. Let's see. Continuing here. All right. Number 5, Blood Feast, Infinite Evolution. Blood Feast, another old school New Jersey band. Loved them back in the day. Love them even more now. Got to be such good friends with those guys. They're amongst my bestest friends in the scene. I've booked them more times than probably any other band, even more times than Deceased. They played every one of my Rage of Armageddon fests, and like I said, me and Adam, the guitarist, we frequently have barbecues at each other's houses. And during COVID, every other weekend we'd have a party at each other's house just for us all to get together because we couldn't go to shows or hang out and go to bars or anything. So it was an excuse to get together. And we still continue this to this day, and just the greatest fucking guys. And this album is a different sounding album because now Adam, the guitarist, the only original member of the band, is now handling the vocals. For different reasons, they sized down to a 4-piece, and Adam's voice he has an old school raspy speed metal voice, like At War, like Old Blood Feast, and it fits the music so perfectly. The music is just brutal thrash metal, brutal speed metal, just right in your face, rips your throat out. And the guys are fucking great. Number 4, Darkness, Blood on Canvas. Darkness, by the mid 80s, I just had a love affair with the German metal scene. The German thrash metal scene is my all-time favorite, scene pretty much. The Big Four, of course, and everything underneath. Assassin, Holy Moses, Exhumer, Iron Angel, Death Row. The list goes on and on. Violent Force, just on and on and on. One of my all-time favorite bands in that list was always Darkness. I love their demos. The Death Squad album is still one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. Always listen to it. I've been trying to bring that band over here for years, and I'm finally bringing them over here. They're going to be headlining my Rage of Armageddon Fest this Labor Day weekend. I can't wait for that. And it's just this album. I mean, the original singer, Ollie, passed away, unfortunately, years ago. Lee has been singing for the band for 10 years now. He doesn't sound exactly like Ollie, but he has the same tone and singing style as Ollie, so it sounds like Darkness. He can sing old Darkness songs great. The new songs have that Darkness feel to it. So, and it's just brutal death thrash. They have not, the last 2 albums have been fucking great. This album's better than the last one. So I can't wait to get them over here. Let's see. Number 3 is, I'm as organized as you are, Tracy. All right. Number 3. Morbid Saint, Swallowed by Hell. Another band I have a long history with, a long friendship with. I first discovered them on a demo, the Lock Up Your Children demo. Saw them back in 1989 at the Milwaukee Metal Fest, the 3rd Milwaukee Metal Fest. Got in touch with them back then, loved them back then. They got back together soon after I started working at Wendigo booking shows. So I reached out to them because, again, they were one of my all-time favorite thrash bands. The Spectrum of Death album is another one of my top 10 albums of all time. So I love the guys. So when they got back together, I was like, got to bring them out to New York to play. I got to see them live again. I want to bring them out. So I have other people see them. We sold out St. Vitus. It was an absolutely insane show. I brought them out here probably 6 times since then, including last year again. Love the guys to death. This album is just mind-blowingly brutal. It's almost as great as Spectrum of Death, which is an all-time classic album. And this album is it just tears your head off. It's just unbelievable how brutal they got. The Burn Pit, Fuck Them All, Bleed Them Dry. I mean, just phenomenal fucking songs, phenomenal album. Number 2 album for me, Nasty Savage, Jeopardy Room. Nasty Savage are, again, one of the most underrated bands of all time. They are one of the first bands to spark this whole scene pretty much. I mean, basically, they started way back in shock metal, rock metal, death metal, thrash metal, speed metal. They've done it all, and they do it fucking great. They are, like Attacker, one of the first bands I ever ordered a demo from. I've got the autographed demo up there from Ronnie. And I ordered a T-shirt. I ordered the comic book. And I've always loved the band. Everything they've done is great. I mean, I wish they'd done an album every year of the career because they're so fucking great. Every album is fantastic. I had the privilege, the honor of bringing them out last year to headline my Rage of Armageddon Fest. And Ronnie proved to be one of the nicest, coolest guys I've ever worked with. Just an absolute fantastic artist, a brilliant songwriter, brilliant fucking singer, and just an absolute maniac on stage. He's brilliant in every way and just the nicest guy. And this album, oh my God, I could go on for hours about how brilliant this album is. It's just I knew it'd be good because Nasty Savage are fantastic. But this album's the best thing they've done, possibly ever. And just every song is fantastic, and which is Sabbath, my all-time favorite Nasty Savage song. They finally redid it. I even asked them when we had Nasty Ronnie on this, which I think was the first Rock Fantasy Files I did, was with Nasty Ronnie, I believe. It was either Nasty Ronnie or Tommy from Howler's Eve. It was one of those two. But basically, I even asked Ronnie why they never re-recorded this song, and he's like, "I don't know, we just never did." Well, hopefully, I put the spark in them. But either way, they re-recorded it. It sounds so great with the guys from Obituary. Just the absolute perfect album, 10 out of 10, flawless in every way. The only album better in my eyes. I'm not going to go into it because I could talk for hours and hours and hours, and everybody's mentioned it already. Is a Deceased album, Children of the Morgue. Just I bow to it. Deceased. I mean, I could go on forever. Me and King are great friends. I've known the guys since the first demo. Love the guys. Booked the guys. Just everything on and on. And this album is just flawless. It's brilliant in every way. The musicianship, the songwriting, the arranging, perfect. The sound, it's just perfect in every way. I'm going to stop there. I can keep going on and on about Deceased. I get a bunch of honorable mentions, so we got to keep going.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks. James, what's up, bro?
Holy shit, what's going on?
There you are.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.
So, starting my top 10 at number 10 is going to be the new Accept album, Humanoid.
Wow. Okay.
Killer release. I really love everything these guys have done since they came back with Mark Tornillo. Every album's been great. Solid stuff. No letdowns, no bullshit. And this album is more of the same. They changed record labels here. They're on Napalm Records now instead of Nuclear Blast, but they're still putting out quality material. Title track is fucking fantastic. Man Up is a really good song off this one. Has kind of an AC/DC vibe to it, which I really dig. The Reckoning is a badass song. And I really like Mind Games off this one. Lots of great riffs. Good stuff. So that's my number 10. Number 9, Orange Goblin. Science, Not Fiction. Killer album. These dudes have never disappointed me. I've been a fan since Time Traveling Blues came out. These guys, to me, have always sort of been like the UK's version of Corrosion of Conformity with Pepper Keenan. They've got that same sort of vibe. It's stoner rock. It's what I see people call them biker rock, whatever. But then there's also a little bit of a punk rock edge to it. And this is more of the same. Fantastic album. Ascend the Negative is a great song. Cemetery Rats is a really good song on here. And The Justice Knife is my favorite track. So if you're into Orange Goblin and you don't have this one yet, get it! Because it's a great album. Number 8, I actually got this record from Rock Fantasy.
Woo!
The New Midnight.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hellish Expectations, killer album. I felt like when I first got the last album, Let There Be Witchery, I was a little disappointed because it was a little too mid-paced and a little slow. There were no fast tracks on that album. After a few listens, I got into it. It grew on me, but this one right away from spin number 1 was fantastic and is fantastic. There's really no slower ones on this one. This is all more up-tempo tunes. Gas Scrape is a great song. Dungeon Lust is fantastic. Nuclear Savior is an awesome song. And Merciless Slaughter is probably my favorite track on this. If you dig old school Venom, if you know, at this point you should know who the fuck Midnight is. But if you don't, and you like old school new wave of British heavy metal and Venom and all that kind of stuff, early thrash when it wasn't quite thrash yet, great stuff.
Yep.
That's my number 8. Get that from Rock Fantasy.
Thank you.
10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7, the new Body Count album, Merciless. I love the streak that Body Count's been on since they came back with Manslaughter. The last album, Carnivore, was really great, and Bloodlust was really good too, but this one's even better. I'm a fan of old school 90s hip hop, and I love metal too, so the mashup is just killer. I've always liked Body Count, and this is a fantastic album, man. They do a really cool cover of Comfortably Numb that actually has David Gilmour playing lead guitar on it. Really cool.
Yeah, very good.
Man, it's like, how do you make that connection? Like Ice-T's like, I want the dude from Pink Floyd to come on my album. Of course,
he said that he said they reached out to him to see if they could get permission to do the song, and he said only if I can play on it.
Wow, really?
That's something else.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Do it epic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe Gilmore is a fan of this television program.
Could be. Drug Lords is a great song on here. It's got Max Cavalera from Sepultura and Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy and Go Ahead and Die and 17 other fucking bands that dude's in. Also on here is, I'm trying to remember what song it is, but Howard Jones, former Killswitch vocalist, is on, I think he's on Live Forever. And the Psychopath song has the dude from Fit for an Autopsy on it. My favorite track on here is Do or Die. It's all about gun violence and young people fucking wilding out. And it's a fucking great song that has a lot of great rhymes in it. And speaking of great rhymes, the last track, Mike Contract, has awesome Ice-T rhymes in it. This is a fantastic album. Go get it. It's heavy as shit. All right, so we got 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6, I am going with one that Tony picked, Legions of Doom. This is a fantastic record. Tony's already waxed poetic about it, so I don't really have to lean on this one very much. Great album. I mean, when you mix up Carl Agell with Scott Regers and dudes that have been in trouble and the Skull, it's always going to be awesome. This is a great, dark, slow Doom album. And hearing Eric Wagner's voice on the track Heaven after he's been gone for a while now is just really fucking cool.
Yeah. I got to check that one out.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album, dude. You should check it out.
I definitely want to check that one out.
All right, so I guess I'm in my top 5 now. Number 5 are buddies of mine, The Faded Line. These dudes are New York hardcore style band based out of Massachusetts. My buddy Carlo plays bass for this band, and they are badass. This is, if you like Biohazard and Madball, you're going to be into what these dudes are doing. This album is called Ti Condano a Mort, and it is available through JHP Media's Bandcamp. You can get a physical copy of this. Great tunes on here. Stomping Grounds is awesome. The Vicious Kind is great. Hollow Point Forgiveness is a fantastic song. You can find these guys on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. It's good stuff. If you dig like 90s era New York hardcore, that's the hardcore that I really dig. You know, big time grooves, great riffs, almost kind of doomy sort of in parts. Check out The Faded Line. This is a fantastic album. All right, so I'm at number 4. Number 4 is going to be the new Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. It's great. Actually, my first episode on this podcast was comparing this to the newest KK's Priest album.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I still love this one. I still go back to it. It's fantastic. Still a little bitter that me and Steve's stores didn't get access to the album that had the extra tracks on it.
I had to go to like some big corporate conglomerate.
Target.
Yeah, you had to go to Target to get the extra tracks.
Yeah, exactly. I worked there. I'm the manager overnight. I saw the CDs there. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to buy the record when I go to Steve's store. I didn't know the CD had exclusive songs just in Target until they were already sold out. I was like, damn it, I blew my chance.
That's right.
Yeah, I got
That's
one.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony already said basically what I would say about this is, there's points in this album that go back to the 80s. There's points in this album that go back to the 90s, and it's also got a very modern sound too. There's one or two songs, like I would say Devil in Disguise kind of has a bit of a 70s vibe to it as well, personally. The riffs in there are fucking fantastic. Giants in the Sky, I didn't realize until after the album had been out for a little bit, Rob Halford did an interview that said that song is about Ronnie James Dio and Lemmy. So that makes the song fucking extra cool. So there's my number 4. Number 3. I keep going back to this album over and over again and over and over again, and I can't stop listening to it. Heavy Temple, Garden of Heathens.
From Philly.
What a killer 3-piece doom band. I think they're from Philadelphia.
Yeah, they're from Philly. Yeah, they're from Philly.
This is just such a sick slab of doom, man.
They played for us at Quinn's when we first started doing shows at Quinn's. They were fucking amazing.
Oh no shit, they played for you?
They played at Quinn's once, yeah.
That's year, awesome.
Like Halloween Bash with Sun Voyager and somebody else. Oh, Tower.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, High Priestess Nighthawk is a fantastic bass player and singer. She rules so hard. So hard. In the Garden of House of Worship is one of my favorites off this. High Wraith is killer. Extreme Indifference to Life is the opener to this, and the lyrics are just so goddamn good. And the last track on here is one of my favorites. It's called Psychomantium. It's an instrumental track, and it really kind of takes you by surprise. It sounds nothing like the other songs on the album. It's a thrasher, and like a fast thrasher. The riffs in it just melt your goddamn face off. This is an underrated killer album that came out this year. Heavy Temple, Garden of Heathens. Go get it. Go listen to it. Great stuff. Number 2, if you've been watching this show within the past year, you know I'm a massive fanboy for Zakk Wylde. So number 2 is going to be Zakk Sabbath, Doomed Forever, Forever Doomed. This is a double album set. It's Zakk Sabbath doing the Paranoid album and the Master of Reality album. And boy, do they do a goddamn killer job on it. I mean, there's really not much to say here about this. They're covering 2 classics that all of us know, that all of us love, but they do a damn good job on it. So grab this one and add it to your collection if you love Black Sabbath and you love Zakk Wylde, because it's just awesome. Number 1 for me is going to be Slash Orgy of the Damned.
Wow.
I cannot get enough of this album. I've played this in my store and sold so many copies of it just by playing it in the store and having people going, dude, what is this? This is killer. So essentially, this is Slash, who is my favorite guitar player of all time, one of my favorite musicians of all time. Guns N' Roses are the band that I first fell in love with. First band I got obsessed with. The band that made me want to play music. And Slash has always been one of my favorite people in the world. And he just always hits home runs for me. I love listening to him play. He's a fantastic lead guitar player, fantastic rhythm player, too. He's underrated in that area. But this album is him covering mostly old school blues tunes, and every song has a different vocalist on it. So you've got he's doing the Pusher from Steppenwolf, and that's got Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes on it. He's doing Crossroads, and that's got Gary Clark Jr. He's doing Hoochie Coochie Man from Muddy Waters, and that's got Billy Gibbons. Now, those two tracks are very cool because Gary Clark Jr. and Billy Gibbons trade leads back and forth with Slash. You don't hear a lot of that throughout Slash's career, where he's like trading lead guitar back and forth with guys. That's fucking really cool. Got a cover of Oh Well from early Fleetwood Mac with Chris Stapleton on vocals. My favorite track on here is the cover of Papa Was a Rolling Stone from The Temptations. Wow. And that's got Demi Lovato on vocals. Surprised the shit out of me. Fantastic song, fantastic version of it. And also Killing Floor on here is really good. It's got Brian Johnson on vocals, and it's got Steven Tyler playing harmonica on it. And Stormy Monday has Beth Hart on vocals, and just a fantastic killer performance. This is a great album. It's good early Sunday morning jams. I recommend it. But I love Slash, so I'm going to recommend anything Slash does. Here's my number one Slash Orgy of the Damned.
Cool. That's a really good record. We streamed that one a lot at work as well. And when I heard Killing Floor with Brian Johnson, I didn't realize that was Brian Johnson. It was playing, and my coworker says, "Who is this singing? It sounds like, like Tom Jones or somebody, Yeah. And I walked over and I looked and I said, "You're not going to believe it when I tell you who's the vocalist." He said, "Who is it?" I said, "It's Brian Johnson." He goes, "From AC/DC?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's singing in a low register voice. He sounds like I said, like Tom Jones or someone singing. Doesn't sound like Brian at all. Yeah, it's some good stuff on that record. Yeah,
definitely.
All right. Thanks, James. Obie, you still awake?
Yep, I'm awake.
Good. Obie, sorry to keep you last tonight.
That's fine.
Well, next to last. I guess I'm kind of last. I got Christian Mariana's picks also tonight.
Oh, yeah. I was worried I was going to have an identical top 10 to Tracy, but she did a different one than I expected, so that was good. So I have some new ones to add to the show. Well, I'm going to start with one that was been mentioned already before from our Greek gods, Rotting Christ. I think this is probably their best album in many, many years because it has so much elements to it, and it's such a big sound. It's I was a little let down by Heretic, their previous album. It lacked something, but they did really bring it back to.
It has more energy, definitely more energy than the Heretic did. Yes.
Yeah, they took it up a notch, which I'm really happy for. Number 9 is our British doom death guys from the 90s up to now, My Dying Bride with a Mortal Binding. It's the best album I've heard of them too in a long time, because they got back to heavy, and got growls back into the vocals and stuff. So
oh wow, I haven't heard that album yet.
You got to check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Yeah. And then Infected Rain with Time, number 8.
Yes. You got me into them. They're one of my favorites now.
Yeah. Number 7 is Kanonfeber or Cannon Fever. Das Urkatastrophe from Germany. They are World War One kind of fanatics. It's one guy really, but he has other people playing. Check it out. It's really cool. They have artwork and all stuff from World War One. It's really cool. Number 6, we got Nocturnus with Unicidal. It's I mean, the previous album too, really, well, it's Nocturnus AD. I gotta say it so I don't get some
Yeah.
shit from the lawyers and stuff. But yeah, it's really good. It's like basically like right after the key in 1990. It's back to form. It's the previous was really good too, but this has really got Nocturnus all written over it. It's yeah, it got all the keyboards and kind of like the mood that you're expecting from Nocturnus AD or Nocturnus. Number 5, I have a band from Vancouver. This is their sophomore album, I guess it's called, when it's the second album. It's Alter Bills with Anumicide on 20 buck spin. They're really good. It's technical and it got a lot of atmospheric kind of, how to explain it. It's not Nocturnus, but it's kind of in the same vein, but it's technical instead of more straightforward. Pretty young guys. Number 4, I'm going to go all the way to New Zealand for our black metal / doom legends in Ulceret with Cutting the Throat of God. It's black metal, I guess, in the lyrics and stuff, but the music is, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of evil, dreamy kind of stuff. It's not what I'm used to in black metal, but number 3 is gonna be Deicide. I mean, this is the best album since 2006, I believe.
Definitely.
Much has been said about it, so I'm gonna just continue. Number 2 is gonna be from France, Alcest.
Okay. Wow. Alcest. Yep.
Yeah, with La Chance of the Lure from Nuclear Blast. I saw them live in November last year, and it was, I mean, you think they are great on album, but live, it's kind of like they have the whole set or the stage with kind of like, looks like the artwork on the cover, and it's kind of, and the light work, and it's like you're in a dream, in like a lucid dream that you don't want to wake up from. Definitely, if you get to check them out live, check them out live.
Cool.
They are kind of black metal, black gaze. I guess they are the inventors of black gaze, really, with their first albums. And number 1 is going to be like Tracy. It's going to be Nile with Underworld of His Soul. I've had it in the car since I got it, and it's still in my car playing traded this day today too.
You and Ralph are like brothers. It's both in your cars.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you're gonna really listen to the album, you have to listen.
Obie
you
was
gotta
sending
listen.
me like the singles and everything as soon as they
Yeah.
were coming out. We were both pretty psyched for that
Cool.
release.
Yeah,
I gotta listen to it more. I haven't listened to it a ton, so I gotta put it
I
in my
got
car again.
like the special
Yeah.
edition with like a big like statuette of Anubis, and
Yeah.
I got the first vinyl that got
You
sold
should
out.
have pulled
Like
that.
this.
You should have pulled that out with the big statue. You got the special edition version. You don't even pull it out for the show.
Right.
Go get it.
Hey,
Go get your homework, Ralph says.
Yeah. Your props need to be put in order there.
Yeah, I got
I
it
got
there.
I got the version where they only made 4 of them, but it's in the kitchen. So
It's in the fridge.
All right, we're gonna see this. Then I've got Christian's picks, and
Come on, get out.
come on. While he's unpacking this, I think
Hush. Give me 2 seconds, man.
got it. Here it comes.
he's unwrapping it. It's the first time it's ever been opened. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's sick
nice.
as hell.
Nice.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
can't
bust
see
that
what
shit
it is.
out.
And that was the Target exclusive, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this album it has already it's on its 3rd like reprint of the vinyl because it's sold out. So it's the
Wow.
3rd print that's already out, and it came in October, late August, or September maybe around there. So
I think late summer. Yeah.
it's been really good for Napalm Records.
All right. So thanks, Obie. I got Christian's picks. The top 10. We're starting at number 10 with Cavalier Conspiracy Schizophrenia,
Nice.
which is the of course
Re-recording.
Re-recording of the Sepultura album. Number 9, he's got Body Count Merciless. Number 8, he's got Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats with the Nell Aura Blue album, which came out last year. Number 7, he's got Dark Throne, It Beckons Us All. Number 6, he's got Judas Priest with their Invincible Shield. Number 5, he's got the Kerry King record From Hell I Rise. Kerry King is actually coming around on tour in the States, headlining with Municipal Waste.
Municipal Waste, yeah.
Number 4 is Bruce Dickinson. No one's mentioned that album yet tonight. The Mandrake Project. Number 3 is Lucifer 5. Number 2 is Saxon Hellfire and Damnation. And number 1 is Midnight with Hellish Expectation. Those were Christian's picks. I did my own episode on my top 30 albums, but I'm just going to breeze through real quick with my top 10. My number 10 is the Ninth Studio. No, not a Ninth Studio. It's a Blood Incantation with Absolute Elsewhere. I got this album in the summer, never grabbed a copy for me to listen to, a hard copy. I finally got this record back in stock, and I think I've sold all of them in the last couple of days. I may have a couple left, but this album's been flying. I think
it's on the fourth round of reprints already.
Yep. It's like
they're really hot right now.
It's like
it's a different sound off of this album. It's really pretty good. It took me a minute to digest it. It's one of those.
I finally listened to it to see what hype was, and I was expecting it to just be a brutal death metal record, and it's like all over the place. It's like Hawkwind and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, thrown in. Yeah,
a little Dark Side of the Moon in there. It's a little bit of everything. Yeah.
The last album was like 2 songs, and they were like it was like the whole album was 2 songs, and there was no singing, and I couldn't stand it. I thought it was horrible.
No, me either. I
haven't even cared to listen to this, but it's like everybody's saying they're hot as hell right now. Everybody's talking about them.
Exactly right, because I felt the same way. I was psyched to get that album the last time around, and it was just ambient. The whole album was just like a soundtrack to a movie.
Yeah, it was like a drone. It never picked up.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay. And then this came out, and I'm like,
I listened to it once. That was it.
I didn't pay attention to this album at all. And then people started listening to it, and I finally did, and I like it a lot. All right, so my number 9.
Making a lot of people's list.
Yeah, my number 9 is this from Finland, Swallow the Sun.
Nice.
Shining. I'm going to go see them in a couple of weeks. They're coming to the Gramercy. So dig this album a lot. Always like this band. Innocence, Long Forgotten, Melancholy, a couple of tracks I like the best on. I'm supposed to be breezing through this because we're taking like 2 hours to do it. I'm hanging out in Finland again. My 8th album is number 8. It's the 11th studio album by Finland Sonata Arctica Clear Cold Beyond. Also, like this band a lot. Never liked them back in the day when everybody else in my friend group liked them, and then saw them a few times and really got into them. First in Line, Shama, Dark Empath, Angel Defiled. I wish they'd come back to the States. They haven't been here since 2019. They claim that it's too expensive to tour the States. Other bands have come over here, but I know it's a tough situation. I've got, what have I got next in line? I got number 7 on my list. It's a 9th studio album from Ensiferum, Winter Storm. I'm going to go see them in a few weeks too. Winter Storm Vigilantes opens up the album. Victorious closes it out. Fatherland, The Howl, I just love that kind of music. Everybody knows I like my melodic European stuff. Let's see. I'm up to number 6 is the 3rd studio album by Portland, Oregon's On to Others with Never Never Land. Gabe's been on the channel a couple times. I interviewed him when one of his albums came out. I interviewed him as part of our interview series back in 2020 also, because Gabe was it was Idle Hands then, and we got the whole story of why they had to change it. And it was, they were all loaded up to go on tour with Mayhem. It was a Decibel tour. They drove, and I think maybe one night of that tour got in before the shutdown. And Butterfly, Mama Likes the Door Closed, Suicide Today. It's a super catchy album. People talked about it already. Gabe's got a very unique voice, and I dig it a lot. I don't like it as much as Mana, but I think it's a strong record.
Me neither.
It's been growing on me.
Yeah, I agree. I like the last one a lot more, but this is a good record. The digital has a few bonus tracks, including a cover of Pet Sematary.
Yeah, they actually did a video for Pet Sematary. They actually did a YouTube video for that. And actually, Mana was their first album, right? And then Strength was their second album.
Strength is the second one. Yeah,
I like
that's probably my favorite.
I
like both of them. But...
Yeah, Mana the first time around. I'm at number 5, right? Number 5, the 13th studio album by Swedish melodic death metal band Dark Tranquillity, End Time, Signals. Got to see them back in October with Amorphous. Always liked Dark Tranquillity is one of my favorite bands. Shivers and Voids, Neuronal Fire, Not Nothing, Drowned Out Voices, some of my favorite tracks from it. Number 3 is, well, I skipped over 4. Number 4, Judas Priest. What's number 1 for most of the year? Probably could still be number 1. You know how things change in your head, but I had to make a list. So Panic Attack. I mean, this album came out and kicked you right in the teeth. Like fucking Panic Attack, Serpent and the King. You're like, is Priest going to mellow out a little bit? They're getting old. And Rob Halford is like, no way in hell am I going to mellow out. And when I saw them on tour this year, it seemed like Rob was on another level. I saw them a couple years ago and thought it wasn't as good this year. I don't know if was it because KK's Priest just toured the States? That he has something to prove? But he came out and
they're in competition.
It was a competition. And Rob came out and just fucking killed it. I saw that tour in Connecticut and I saw it in Albany. Number 3 is an album I probably listened to more than anything this year. It's the 10th studio album from German power metal band Powerwolf. And I love Powerwolf. Got to see him in Philly, Bless Him with the Blade, Sinners in the Seven Seas. I think it's one of those bands that you either love or hate, and I love them. So Viva Vagalta, Wake Up the Wicked, Don't Want to Be No Saints. And then I'm going to number 2. This is all because of fucking Obie, and I told Obie this better be on this list. It is the 6th studio album by Moldovan metalers, Infected Rain, Time. And man, Dying Light, Never to Return. What do you classify this type of music as, Obie? It's kind of like groove metal.
I guess modern metal, I guess.
Modern.
Yeah, it's modern. It's modern. Yeah.
But Lena Scissorhands, she's an awesome front person. Female vocals, but just kicks ass. And I really wish they would tour the United States. They toured the United States a couple years ago.
Yeah, we saw them open for Wednesday 13. They were really good.
You saw them. So, and then I think Frank that works at my store said that they actually played the Chance. They were opening.
Yeah, they did. For Butcher Babies.
Lacuna Coil or someone.
Butcher Babies, because she is a good friend with Heidi Shepard from the Butcher Babies.
And you say that Lena is living in the States now too. It's just
she is in Las Vegas.
It's just amazing that it's. I find it weird that like Liquid Metal doesn't play this album because they play a ton of Ginger and stuff like that. They don't really play this album. Jose Mangan, if you're watching, why don't you play Infected Rain? But I'm sure he's not watching. Oh, I don't want to go that far. So that was my number 2 album of the year. My number 1 album was not my number 1 album for most of the year. You know why? Because this album came out in November.
I know where you're going.
No one's mentioned this album yet. It's the 14th studio album by Swedish metal veterans Opeth, The Last Will and Testament. I can listen to this shit all day long. And I was doing a Pete Pardo show about something that's like, I don't want to listen to anything. I just want to listen to new Opeth. And it's really cool. It's got Ian Anderson doing flute on it from Jethro Tull. He's doing spoken word. The growls are back with Opeth too. It's heavy. It's proggy. It's still all over the place, but I love Opeth, and that's my number one of the year. So, all right, we got to do. We promised we were going to do honorable mentions, but we got to breeze through them. Not much description, just breeze through a few because we've been into this thing for an hour and 40 minutes almost. If people are still watching us, thank you for hanging with us.
All right, so I gotta just say this though, is that James picked Midnight, and I did not even have this on my list because I didn't realize it was 2024. And it's ridiculous because I did Jamie Laszlo's review crew show, and it was the first one I did, and I reviewed this album. And this is definitely in my top 5. So kick something out of what I
kick somebody out.
But what sucks is that I did the Sea Tranquility episode of the top 20 for 24, and I forgot this. It's not in my notes, and I was like, "How the fuck did I forget that?"
It happens, man.
That kills me though. Like that, I didn't. Anyway, because no one bring it up in the other episode, or else I would have been like, "Oh yeah, yeah." So Judas Priest, you guys. I missed that it's not KK and Glenn Tipton. I don't care. I don't think Glenn Tipton plays one note on this. And I like this album. I like that they're still heavy and they put out a good solid album, but it seems so modern to me at times. And I think it's a little bit overrated, but I'm glad at this point in the game for them that they're still fucking going and still doing good, solid metal. Yeah. The Bruce Dickinson I had pulled out. I thought this was really good. The KK or Kerry King, I like it, but it's like you go 40 years of Slayer and then you do a solo album and you get a guy singing exactly like your singer for the last 40 years, which I thought was pretty bizarre. There's some punk, not much punk comes out that I give a fuck about these days, but UK Subs, and it's got the same title as your Opeth. It's called The Last Will and Testament of UK Subs. But this is a live DVD, and it's like they're wrapping up. They've been around since 1976, legendary old band, and they put out that. This is Absalon, the Blood's Seed. This and this other band, Severed Angel, they're both like power metal, sort of like Queensryche sort of stuff. Skyward. Severed Angel. I won both of these in a contest that was on the show that Tony does, the Almost Human Live. They were doing a contest.
Wayne Noon. Wayne Noon's in both bands. Yeah.
Yep. And they both came out last year, and it's good stuff if you're a fan of that kind of Queensryche Halloween stuff. Ghoul did this great EP, Noxious Concoctions. Really cool stuff. Really good band. And I got this David Gilmour. I got this for Christmas. This is one of the only few things I got that I didn't have for the SOT show. But I've only listened to it like twice, and it's very mellow. There's like one song on it, and you go, I wish the whole album was more like this, kind of, So I don't know how much I'll be going back to that. And then for the best album cover of the year, you can get this album on Hell's Headbangers, Crisian.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. So Christian put an album out last year?
Yeah, but you can only get it on Hell's Headbangers, and it's called Kill, 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 Lord Jesus Christ.
And religious.
Did you draw that, Ralph?
Yes, that's my beautiful artwork. I did that.
So you did the artwork for that?
Yeah, and even on the back here, there's my artwork.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. I remember you talking about doing Crisian artwork. So
is that old material?
It's a live bootleg show that they did in 2000 when they were doing the Conquerors of the Armageddon, and that's the tour shirt. So they used my tour shirt designs. Nice. This was one of the designs for the tour shirt, and then this was the back of the tour shirt.
Yeah.
So they put them on the album. I was just on Health Headbangers one day, just like looking through, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" I couldn't believe there was a
I
vinyl
got
of my
I
artwork.
got
So,
to hang out with them later this year, and
yeah, with Deicide.
yeah, with Deicide, and I was hanging out with them and Firehaze backstage, and we were talking about Ralph and Moses, and they all said, "Ralph, get in touch with us. We want to chat with you, bro." I hope you reached out to them because they were really wanting to chat with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it for me.
I've got a something in my hand that I'm looking at. It's driving me a little crazy. That Ghost put out an album this year, a live album. It was for the movie soundtrack. But if you look at the back of it, I don't know if you can really see it. It's like
Alive.
It's like Kiss Alive. Is that Kiss Alive or Kiss Alive 2?
Yeah,
It's
Alive
alive.
one.
Yeah,
yeah, that's the first one.
the same. It's like you're looking at it. It looks just like Kiss Alive. So yeah.
Yep. That movie was awesome.
It was good. I went to the theater for that. I went to
Me
the
too.
theater for that movie, and I went to the theater for the Sabaton movie, which not many people even knew about.
I missed the Sabaton one, but that Ghost movie was fucking badass.
There's a Jimi Hendrix like documentary that's getting played at that theater that I go to. I think they're actually playing it tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Night. It's like the making of Electric Ladyland or something like that. But it's like a documentary, but some live.
The Zeppelin.
There's a Zeppelin coming out. Yeah,
that's coming out.
Yeah, that Zeppelin one looks good.
February. Yeah. Cool. Ravenous.
Okay. I have a bunch, but I promise I will go real quick. So, okay, let's start off with we're going to Sweden, the fifth album from Lucifer.
Yes.
Absolutely love this record. I played it so many times. Really catchy, just great heavy stuff. So, all right. Now let's see.
That's not bad. Got some good songs on that one.
Oh, yeah.
From the state of Washington, Holder.
Yeah.
That's a great album.
Medieval black metal. That's exactly what you get. Just really atmospheric, dark. I mean, it's just wonderful. One of the absolutely love the music she makes. So check this out. It's a great record. Now here, I don't listen to much power metal, but this is one of the few power metal bands I like from Canada. This is the sixth studio album from Unleash the Arch.
Yes.
Everything they make is great. I mean, they do concept albums, and every album is different. And it's just really really detailed, really depth. Just really just great fun album. So love that one.
Good live band.
In a couple weeks. I'll be seeing.
Here's an album that's been already mentioned quite a few times. Blood Incantation. I won't repeat what's been said, but anyway, just really a unique album. Incredible, great art, everything. Awesome record. Okay, another album that has already been mentioned quite a few times, but this is probably my favorite death metal album of the year. Would be the new one from Nile. Just absolutely brutal, relentless album. So, okay, next we have. Here's a record from one of my favorite bands who I'll be seeing in concert next month. Steve, you mentioned this one already. Ensiferum.
Yes.
Their ninth album, I think, but everything they make is outstanding. So this is just another wonderful album from them.
Yep, ninth. Yep.
Okay, so here's another one that's been mentioned, I think, at least once. The new one from Alcest. Really a stunning record. So from the French band. So okay. Next up, here's a band from a band called Thai Catafalque. They're labeled as avant-garde metal. I don't listen to much of that, but this is pretty heavy at times. Other times they're kind of folkish, but a really great record. Check it out. I will not attempt to pronounce the name of this album. It's quite long and it's not English. So, but anyway, Thai Catafalque, great record. Okay, so next I have black metal from England. This is Winter Phyleth.
Oh, yeah. I remember them.
It's called The Imperious Horizon. Great atmospheric black metal right here. And let's see, what do I have left? Oh, one more. Now, one more to go. This is from Portugal. The fifth album from Gaera, the album called Coma. Outstanding record, just raw, heartbreaking, somber, relentless. It's just another great record. probably their finest moment. So they've been one of the best black metal bands over the past decade or so throughout their career. So absolutely love this record. That's all I have, Steve.
Cool. Ed, you're going on 70,000 tons of metal. I'm real fucking jealous.
Yeah, I am.
Mm.
I can't fucking wait.
The
I'm
Norwegian
looking
Pearl.
up the list while you're talking about it. While we're having
There's a lot of bands you're gonna like on there.
Fucking Grizzly, and they're gonna be on the boat.
Yep.
Yeah. Tracy, what's up? You got anything extra? Quick.
Yep. I've got Glacial Tomb, and the name of the album is Lightless Expanse, and they're from Denver, Colorado. Kind of a deathy black and death, I would qualify them under. Amazing
Wow.
album.
Yep.
Then I've got two interesting pieces. I've got a band called War Corpse who does a groove thrash.
Okay.
But it's an EP, but they've done a few EPs. They're just absolutely amazing. And then I've got a kids band that came out of Oklahoma called Oklahoma Blood. They started out doing this thing on YouTube, and they put together an album called Plasma that is groovy with a little bit of a thrash edge, but really upbeat, funky type of, and I can see them going places. So I'm hoping they're going to come out with something this year too.
Huh. Cool. Is that it?
Yep.
All right, cool. Tony.
Yeah, there's a few things that I need to pick up that I've heard tonight, especially like that Nasty Savage. I've been needing to get that, and that Attacker. That Attacker sounds like it's gonna be really good.
You'll definitely like Attacker.
So a couple things here I'll throw out. I got this my favorite guitarist, Michael Schenker. He just put this compilation album called My Years with UFO.
Nice.
And it's basically re-recordings of classic UFO songs. He's got different singers like Dee Snider, Joey Tempest, Jolene Turner, Eric Growal and Slash are on one song. Biff Byford's on here. Axl Rose actually does Love to Love, and it's actually pretty interesting.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's gotta be interesting.
That sounds really
Yeah, when I first heard it, I was going, "Who is this? This is weird," because it didn't even sound like Axl. But he's got Kai Hansen on here and Stephen Piercy, Jess Scott Soto. Yeah, just good classic UFO songs. This is a band that was kind of the end of the whole glam thing we call Cold Sweat. It was Mark Ferrari from Keel's band after Keel. And this is some basically some unreleased recordings that they put out this year with some live stuff when they got back together in 2020 and played the Monsters of Rock cruise, and they're back playing live again, promoting that. And one last one I wanted to mention, I got a hand in putting this together with Heaven and Hell Records. It's a band called Corrupture. This is like nuclear assault style thrash metal. Kind of like a little DRI thrown in there, maybe a little crossover. But these guys were in 88, 89. All these songs were recorded, and it was a project. Just wanted to put the compilation of the demos out. So this is on Heaven and Hell Records. And we actually started working on this project 10 years ago and trying to get these guys to talk back and forth. They've been broken up for years. It's like herding cats. And, finally it came out, and I didn't even know it had come out. Jeremy said I saw an ad for it, and I said, "Oh, you're finally putting it out." He goes, "Yeah, it's finally coming out." So I was like, "Oh wow, crazy." But yeah, if you like just old school thrash metal, you'll dig this. It's called Corrupture with a K. So yeah, cool band.
It's weird because we had a Corrupture in Middletown back in the day, but it was with a C.
Yeah, this is KURUPSURE. Yeah,
cool. Ed,
all right.
Keep it brief.
All right. Just almost made my top 10 was the Judas Priest album. We won't mention that. Great fucking record. I mean, it ain't A class, but it's fucking great record. Just run through some quick honorable mentions. The Atrophy album, Asylum, great band. I love the first two Atrophy albums. Great speed metal. I booked them when they first got back together. This is just a great record. It's more sound. It's basically a new band now, except for the singer. It sounds more like Testament than Old Atrophy, but it's still just good speed metal. Municipal Waste, we mentioned them earlier before because of the bat relations. A Tango and Thrash compilation. It's like basically just they redid some COC songs, Poison Idea songs, a bunch of cover songs and stuff, and it sounds like old DRI. It's just blistering speed metal, little hardcore punk. It's just great stuff.
I totally forgot that even came out.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
honestly
Municipal.
didn't know it came out until I was doing the research for this, and I saw the list. I'm like, oh shit, Municipal Waste put something out. And I checked it out. It's like a Tango and Thrash, so it's all Kurt Russell related theme songs. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. It's a cool record. Another honorable mention, Malignancy just continued. We mentioned it before. There's a great old school death metal band in like the vein of Immolation. Just really, 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 really brilliant musicianship, great arranging, and just brutal death metal. And Danny is just one of the great frontmen of all time. I booked them a bunch of times. Love the guys. They even did during COVID. We couldn't do shows, of course, for a year. So I did 2 live stream events, and they were one of the headliners for one of those. So that was a lot of fun.
I paid to watch one of them, and I ordered the T-shirt. I ordered the white T-shirt from.
Oh, excellent! Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's the only way we could do a show at the time. So we all got together in the studio, taped it. Matt from New York City metal scene edited a couple camera edits together. Remixed it and just put it out, and it was great. We got a good response from both of them. We did 2 of them.
And Mike Yusufer had something to do with
absolutely. He did the sound. He was a sound man for the second one.
Yeah.
Wow.
He helped with the recording process and the editing and all that. Yeah, we got everybody involved. It was great, and we had to do something during COVID, so it was fun. All right. Let's see. Master Saints Dispelled with Master Paul Spectorman. He goes back there with Nasty Ronnie and Celtic Frost and Possessed and Death as far as one of the originators of fucking death metal. Massive, never changed. Paul's a brilliant fucking songwriter. Great fucking guy. Really cool guy. I love him. Let's see. Messiah. Crisis Hypercubus. My second favorite Swiss band, even more than Coroner, after Celtic Frost. I love their first 2 albums. Is phenomenal. Hymn of Abramelon and Extreme Cold Weather. 2 very drastically different sounding albums. Fucking great.
Is that the one with the polar bear on the the ice? That's the funniest album cover.
It really is. It's great. It's fucking great. It's great. And they've got a little like quirky sense of humor about a lot of their songs too. They come out with just straight thrash, speed metal, death metal, and then they have some weird sense of humor. It's a really fucking great band. Finally got to see them live 2 years ago out at Hell's Here. What is it? Metal Threat Fest out in Chicago. Fucking great band. Let's see. Accept Humanoid. They were mentioned earlier. I love Accept. They are them and Saxon, my 2 all-time favorite heavy metal bands, even more than Priest, Maiden, AC/DC, etc. The last album was just mind-blowingly amazing. Go up there with the last album. Humanoid, I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried to really get into. I can't. I just can't. The songs just sound too basic, too cut and dry. There's a couple of good songs on it, but for the most part, I just can't get into it. The best song on it, Ravages of Time, the ballad. I think that's the best song on the album.
That is a good song.
It is, right? It's a great song. I mean, I'm going to keep listening to it because I fucking love Accept. I just can't get into it yet. Riot 5, I believe Tony mentioned them. Mean Streets, fucking great record. Wild career that band has had. A fucking great new record. Nocturnus AD. What is it? Unicursal, fucking brilliant technical fucking death metal, fantastic. Flotsam and Jetsam, I Am the Weapon. Never been.
Man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I've never really been a big Flotsam fan. I mean, they were always like there, and I was like, yeah, whatever, not really my thing. This album, I think, is one of the best albums they've done. It's a really good album.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. I'm going to see them on. I think it's either the Cruise or Hell's Heroes, one of the 2 of them. But I'm looking forward to seeing them. Another one, Attic, Return of the Witchfinder. Attic is a band I discovered last year at MDF, actually before MDF. I researched them, and they are very, very much Merciful Fate, King Diamond influence. Lyrically, vocally, musically, theatrically, stage presence, every way. They totally bite off King Diamond and Merciful Fate, but in an original way. It's phenomenal, and the stage show is just mesmerizing. I believe they were setting up a tour in the next couple months. They should be coming over again. I recommend to go see them. It's an absolutely amazing live show. Let's see here. Gray Skies Fallen. Fucking Molded by Broken Hands, progressive doom death from Long Island. Great fucking band, really cool guys. Another one, Cardiac Arrest, The Stench of Eternity, an utterly brutal death metal band from Chicago that is brutally underrated and unappreciated and not given us. They've been fucking raging since 1997. Just straight up brutal death metal. This album is fucking amazing. Corrosive, Catastrophic, another K band, Corrosive with a K, and Catastrophic with a K, Catastrophic Creations with a C. A band from Canada I recently discovered because a friend of mine turned me on to the band because we were like, oh, you should check him out. Maybe you want to book a show. Well, they're going to be playing my Rage Armageddon Fest this year. I like them that much. This is their third record. When I come down for my fest, it's first time in the country from Canada. I just straight thrash metal, just brutal fucking thrash metal. There's great stuff. Okay,
I got that in the Metalhead box set. It was amazing.
Yep. Cool. One of my last honorable mentions, Satan, Songs in Crimson. Satan fucking great. I mean, my God.
Another one I haven't heard yet. I need to check that out.
Again, I hadn't heard it until I did the research for this, and it's definitely worth checking out. Definitely, it's not great. Is in the court of but basically, it's a really.
What did you say, Satan?
Yeah, Satan.
Mm-hmm. I forgot they had an album last.
Yep. Songs in Crimson, new album. Yep, it totally went under the radar. I didn't know they had.
Wow, I think I got it in. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, I know they've been touring a lot, but I didn't realize they put out a new record either. But it's a good record. Man. Also, Tracy mentioned Not Annihilator, Analyzer. From Texas. Okay, they go back to like the early, like 84, 85. They started. They're way back. I mean, they got a lot of records originally, the first EP. And I had them up here a few years ago for a fest. Great band. And that new record, I totally forgot about that one because I heard it when it came out. And I streamed it, whatever. Fucking great record. And I ordered. Actually, I did a trade with Alex. I sent him a Rage Armageddon T-shirt. He's going to send me the vinyl. So I totally forgot about the damn record because he hasn't sent me the vinyl yet. But anyway, it's a great record.
Yeah, amazing album.
Really fucking great. Just really briefly, a couple of great EPs that came out this year: Massacre, Evil Dead Rise, Primeval, Evolution X, re-recording some old songs, including Terminal Dementia for my 7-inch EP.
I have it.
Oh, cool. Hatchet, Leave No Soul, Sadist, Juggler of Bells, and Paul Di'Anno's Warhorse, Step This War. Good record. Rest in peace, Paul.
Yeah.
Extra special mention, David Gilmour, Luck and Strange. Just I love Floyd, everything associated with Floyd. We'll get into it, but great fucking record there. That's it for me. Go on. Great fucking year this year.
James, you got anything left to wrap us up tonight?
Yes, sir. So I called my honorable mentions down to 5, but I just wanted to say before I get to those that I loved the Bruce Dickinson album. I loved the Kerry King album. I loved the High on Fire album. And Stryper put out a great album this year, too, called When We Were Kings. Love all those, but they didn't make my top 15. All right, so my last 5 are Coffin Storm.
Oh, nice.
Now check this guys out. This is fucking Fenris from Dark Throne and Apollyon from Aura Noir, and it's just different, man. This is like Doom meets slow thrash / new wave of British heavy metal.
Wow.
Very good. I've seen a lot of people talk shit about Fenris's voice on this. I love it. He actually reminds me kind of Scott Riegers from St. Vitus. He has that like Die Healing sort of voice on this, and I think he sounds fucking fantastic. Great riffs in it. Open the Gallows is a fantastic song, and Clockwork Cult is a fantastic track on this. Kind of reminds me of Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath era, and look at that album cover. Look familiar? Look familiar a little bit? Check that shit out. Coffin Storm is fucking dope.
I'll check that out.
Hastronaut. Here's a killer band from Colorado. Very dark, slow, stoner doom metal. If you like Bongzilla and Sleep, and if you've got the attention span to sit through long, slow Black Sabbath-y songs, these guys are fantastic. This album's called No Return. Rip Wizard is a killer track. Lung Ruiner is a killer track. It's no surprise what the fucking songs are about if you look at the name of the album. Great stuff. Great to listen to under the influence of leafy green medicinal herbs. Check out Astronaut.
Hash what?
Astronaut.
Hash
So it's
astronaut.
like
Okay,
you
astronaut.
smoke hash and you're an astronaut. Shit. Nobody's talked about this one tonight, and it upsets me a little bit. Exhorter put out a great album this year. Defectum Omnium. It's a fantastic Exhorter album. Year of the Goat is one of the best tracks on this. I love the song The Tale of Unsound Minds is a really good, slow, doomy track. And the final song on here is called Your Six, which features Bruce Franklin and Rick Wartell from Trouble dueling lead guitars in this track, which is killer. And if you know the whole family of the band and everything, Kyle Thomas is the current lead singer for Trouble. I'm hoping there's a new Trouble record coming. I'm looking forward to that. They've been teasing a lot of shit, so hopefully there's a new Trouble record on the way.
Well, I'm going to
Doing some shows.
Isn't Phil Dammel from Machine Head? Isn't he in the next order now?
No, Pat O'Brien, former Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, right.
And Nevermore is on this. He's in X Order. Right. This is a fantastic album. I definitely recommend it. All right. And we got Igniter. Here's a killer band. Very old school. Judas. If you dig Priest and Maiden and Dio, you're going to like this. Features Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys and Watchtower and Dirty Looks and 75 other fucking bands that he's in. He's a hard-working guy. This is a killer album. Dark Horse is a fantastic track on here. Starts off kind of doomy and gets really good up-tempo, fucking kind of gallopy shit going on here. Taking Up with Serpents is a fantastic song. And I really love Chaos Maximus Eternal. This is really great old school traditional metal, but done today with old school guys. I definitely recommend this album. If you see, look at how epic the album art is, you kind of know what you're getting into. Good stuff.
Phil Demos and Kerry King's band, by the way.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Cool.
So my last honorable mention is Miles Kennedy's newest album, The Art of Letting Go. I don't like this quite as much as Miles' last two solo records, but this one is very good. Title track is great. Miss You When You're Gone is a fantastic song, and there's a tune on here called Eternal Lullaby that Miles hasn't said it's about Chris Cornell, but if you read the lyrics, it's definitely about Chris Cornell, and it's a fucking beautiful song. And I love Miles Kennedy. I love him with Slash. I love him with Alter Bridge. He's a very talented dude. Great singer, great songwriter. This is a great album. Get it in your collection.
All righty, Obie, you got anything left? And then we're wrapping this thing up. And we're shutting down the camera.
I'm gonna take it up a notch again. This is album I've talked with Ralph about when it came out. Is Witch Vomit.
Yes,
with,
great.
With Funeral Sanctum from Portland on $20 spin. You have Chivalrous with Mace Envy, also from $20 spin. Cryptic Sermon, the Stygian Rose. It's that epic doom thing. If you like Candlemas, you like this.
Yep.
Yes, good band.
And you got 200 Stab Wounds. Came out with an album this year. It's really good. And you got another band called Slime Lord. It's I don't know, Death Drone, I guess you can call it, because it's, and I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name of the album because it starts on C and ends on S with 15 letters in between. Then you got the new double album from Satanic Warmaster, Exclusory of Cruelty. And you got from Swedish veterans, Necrophobic, within the Twilight Grey. Then you got Bobbit Forth with Terrified of God. I sent the music video to Ralph. It's kind of like old school handheld camera, puking and playing out in a house, full party kind of death metal stuff. Then we got also from Tony Buckspin with Fulci with Duckface Killings, which they have based a new album on the New York Ripper movie from Fulci.
Yep.
And that's about for me.
Cool.
Quick and easy.
You forgot a Norwegian band, 1349, The Wolf and the King. Did you listen to that this year?
I'm gonna leave something for you too, man.
All right. Well, I don't have it. I'm done. I did my top 30 list on the channel already. That's going to be on the channel too. And so I won't mention any honorable mentions. And we thank everybody for hanging out. And if you're still watching us now, definitely thumbs up, because this is a 2-hour episode. But we had fun. We're talking about 2024. And now we got to start working on 2025. And new albums are starting to come out as we're taping this on the 15th. And Tracy, you got a show in Middletown in about a week or so. If you're in the area, what do you got?
Last Pharaoh and Peregrination is going to be coming to Clemson Brewery. Yep.
Uncle Slam.
Uncle Sam is going to be our cover closer.
Yeah.
Cover closer is what we're calling it. Yep.
Is Mama Doom on that too?
Yes, Mama Doom is going to open.
So there's 4 bands or 5 bands? Four bands? I forget now. I thought there was 5 bands. I have a flyer in the store, but anyhow, it's like Clemson at the Zone next. Well, was it the 25th? About 10 days from now. Cool.
Yes. It should be an amazing show. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and we're working on getting pieces and parts together so we can get a new sound system in there. Hopefully by spring. Sound first, lights second.
Needs lights. Need lights and sound, but it's one step at a time for sure. So anyhow, thank everybody for watching tonight. Please mention in the comments your favorite album releases from 2024, and we will see you next time on the Rock Fantasy Files as we delve into concerts that we saw last year. That'll be our list for next week. Talk about some of the shows we saw last year, and then we'll move on into 2025 with some new subjects. Bye. See ya. For Got Ralph, it's for Ravenous, for Tracy, for Tony Dio, for Ed, for James, and for Obie. We'll see you next time.